change the things around you. Oh, what you gonna love inside of you? Oh, when you gonna hear his revelation? Oh, let it move inside of you.
Welcome, beautiful souls, to another wonderful episode of Infinite Perspectives, where voices become vision and vision becomes transformation. I am Michelle Diamond, the voice, author, founder of Next Level Promotion, a creative, and co founder of this phenomenal platform. Linda?
Hi there. Thank you, Michelle, for being Michelle. I am Linda Austin, founder of Peer Incorporated, an author, an actress, a singer, and your co-host and co-creator of this wonderful platform, Infinite Perspective.
Absolutely. Well, tonight's conversation, it's about perception, about the stories we inherit before we ever have the opportunity to experience truth for ourselves. Because many of us, sometimes carry assumptions about people, about places, cultures, and even ourselves. Sometimes we don't even realize where those assumptions originate.
Absolutely. Sometimes travel changes geography. And sometimes it changes consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are experiences that force us to question what we thought we knew, right?
Ooh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And on that, tonight, we explore a deeper question. What happens when lived experience begins dismantling inherited narratives? On that note, we're proud to introduce our sponsors. Infinite Perspectives is proudly brought to you by Peer Incorporated, Next Level Promotion, a division of Infinite Perspectives brand, Moniker Enterprises, Carlotta Cole the brand, and Unlimited Networks Property Management.
Yes, thank you for our sponsors. Tonight, we welcome Kasan Da Julah, author, producer, filmmaker, photographer, entrepreneur, creative visionary, and cultural storyteller. A first generation Jamaican American whose journey has explored identity, spirituality, creativity, culture, and consciousness through many lenses.
Yes, we are so elated and influenced by diverse traditions, including Rastafari, Buddhism, Christianity, the 5% Nation, Hebrew Israelite teachings, and esoteric sciences. Kassan has spent decades exploring one central question: how do we expand beyond what we have been taught to discover what we know through direct experience?
Yes, yes. Kasan, welcome to Infinite Perspectives. Tonight,
Thank you.
we are not simply discussing Africa. We are exploring perspective itself, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Give thanks. Give thanks for having me. Give thanks. It's an honor to be here.
Absolutely. Well, Kassan, we like to delve in, get to the nitty gritty. No, I'm kidding. We had to throw that little laughter in there. Icebreaker for everyone. So, with that being said, we talk about the stories we inherit, right?
Hmm.
So, Kasan, I know, from our years in high school together, you've always been a free spirit to me from what I encountered with you and our interactions. So before your travels and before your books and before your creative work, what narratives about Africa did you inherit growing up?
Mm.
Yeah, well, I guess it's kind of like a duality, because living in the wilderness of North America,
Mhm.
you know, we are given the lens of the media, of the Babylonian media, who portrays Africa as savage, underdeveloped. You know what I mean? We see these feed the children and everybody's starving, no city, nothing's popping over there. That's what you think. Animals, jungles, you know what I'm saying? You go out there, a lion might get you, you know what I mean? So that's what I knew of it at that with that being said, growing up in America. But at the same time, as you stated, I'm a first generation Jamaican American. So I grew up around a lot of Rastas. So Rasta was always pointing towards Africa. You know what I mean? Ethiopia.
Ethiopia.
We Ethiopians, you know what I mean? Zion, Africa is the way forward, and exposed to Garveyites and Garveyism and Africa for Africans. So there was two things pitting against one another. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I knew at some point I would always want to go to Africa. But the funny thing is, I always wanted to go to England first. And I remember this Jamaican told me one time, he's like, "What? You want to go England before you even want to go Africa? I want to." I was like, you're right. You're right. So that was always in the back of my mind. But just to answer your question, those are the two ideologies and perspectives that I had on Africa prior to my trip.
Wow, that's deep. And I
Mm.
think all of us have had that experience growing up. I remember watching Tarzan movies,
Right.
and
Mhm.
like Africa was full of cannibals, and
Right.
Correct.
then mix Disney in there, and we were
Right.
boiling in pots, boiling the explorers in pots. Lord and
Yep.
mercy. But Black people always had a perspective of Africa that was much richer than that. How
Hmm.
much of what we believe comes from direct experience, and how much comes from repetition?
Great question.
Hmm. Hmm. Um. Uh. Well, that's an interesting question because it's going to be repetition as opposed to experience, because most of us don't get a chance to experience Africa. So
Right.
it is going to be repetition, beating in your head what you see
Yeah.
on TV, with the media shows. I do want to point out one thing that broke me out of that was two books,
Mhm.
and which got me on the road to reading ferociously. My library is crazy since that point. And the first book was called From the Browder Files by Anthony T. Browder. That started me off. It was easy reading. And then the Nile Valley Contribution to Civilization. So when I read those two books, I was like, whoa, we did this, we did that. And then another one called 100 Black Facts of the Negro, that was like, oh, we had to do, Garrett Morgan with the traffic light and the this and the that and
Mhm.
the, and it really started opening up my mind to us as a people. You know what I mean? But yeah, repetition. So my repetition actually became reading more books,
Yeah.
and enriching myself in the greatness and richness of the motherland.
Hmm. Yes.
Wow. Great. So I love that you brought up, your library and reading to, expand the mind, because it is so much more out there than we were actually given knowledge of, even in school.
Right.
So, with that, what assumptions did you later discover were incomplete or entirely untrue?
Oh wow,
Once I
that's deep.
once I went over there,
Hmm.
yes. So once I went over there, um, Well, the first thing I remember, I used to hear stories of people going over there and coming back and saying, you know, I went over there and I was like, my brother. And they looked at me and was like, you're not my brother. You from America. You're not my brother. And I'm like, that was heartbreaking. Not too sure how, you know, if that was a factual story or not, but or if it was made up. But that was what I heard, stories like that. So when I first went over there, also it might be noteworthy to point out that what originally brought me over there was I'm also the envoy to Ghana for the Ethiopian World Federation. So they kind of set that tone for me. And when I went over there, I learned a lot. So what I learned was, number one, they have they were very welcoming. Ghana is the safest country in all of Africa, right? Very developed, big supermarkets. Of course, they had their underdeveloped areas as well, but they had a thriving city. They got money. They just started introducing the credit system, so everything you see over there with somebody, they own that. You see somebody with a car, they ain't making payments on it. They own that. You see somebody with a house, they own that. So that was another thing. So and the cars were like BMs, Benzes, fly cars. You know what I'm saying? So that was the first thing. The economic and financial fallacy that they try to push on us about Africa. Africa is definitely enriched, of course, with the natural elements and minerals of the gold, the oil, the cocoa, chocolate. You know what I mean? So a lot of that was popping. So that was my first thing. Another thing what I found very interesting that I discovered when over there was the World Trade Center. A lot of people would like living here in the wilderness, North America. You would think that the only World Trade Center was the one that was destroyed in 9/11. But there's many World Trade Centers. There's a World Trade Center in Ghana, and then last year when I went to Nigeria, there's a World Trade Center in Nigeria also.
Yes.
So, and I'm sure they're not the only two. So so like I said, that was the first thing. The economic fallacies were dispelled when I went over there.
Yeah. Wow, that's deep. You know, it's interesting that you say that because if you have people that are in Africa that are friends, I have friends that have moved there. Their children love visiting them. I'm trying to hang with them too. I'm trying to get over there with them. But it's something about how it impacts them every time they return. It's a fresh thing going on inside their spirit. You can feel it in their spirit every time. Do you think many people unknowingly confuse that information with understanding? Do they get confused with these two things?
Information and understanding? So I want to say this. Africa is not something you can explain. It's something you have to experience. It's not, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, you know, your favorite dish. You know what I mean? You could try to describe it, but you ain't gonna get it until you taste it.
Yeah,
you know I mean? So that's the same thing with Africa. It's nothing that I could have gotten from somebody else's point of view. So and then everybody's gonna have their own experience. Some people have great experiences. You know, it's and me as a Jamaican, as a Jamaican, I think that my experience was more of a soft landing for me than it would be for somebody that hasn't had to face certain conditions. So like me, I grew up on ground food, Rasta food, yam, dumpling, pumpkin, banana. You know what I mean? So ground provisions was life for me.
Correct.
So that's not struggle. People are like, oh, you had to boil your. No, that's life. So that was nothing to me. So yeah, so that it's something that you have to experience. I'm not going to go too far off. You know, to go too far left from your questions, but
Mhm.
yes, it's something that you have to experience.
Yeah.
Listen, we like the far left and the far right.
We love far left.
Exactly.
All right.
We love those. You know, we like
We
to
love
delve
far
all
right.
the way
We love
in.
far left. We
Right,
love all.
right, okay. I figured, we'll get to those with, we get to those, and we'll go in a timely.
Absolutely.
So
Well,
the
you know,
order-
I'm happy that you stated that because, you know, thus the name of the show, Infinite Perspectives. Everybody's perspective is absolutely different. So, you know, you can go, your experience, my experience, Linda's experience will totally differ because
Right.
our perceptions waver. And
Right.
you know, that's the beauty of it, because if we all had the same perspective, how dull this world would be. But
Right.
anyhow, sometimes we are not trapped by reality.
Mhm.
We are trapped by the stories we accepted
Mm-hmm.
before the reality ever had a chance to introduce itself.
Right.
And these
Right.
are the things that we absolutely have to remember.
That's a fact.
Mhm. Yeah. You know, Africa, as we look at it through a lived experience, and I cherish every conversation that I can have about it, because we know that is the beginning of all. You know, life itself
Right.
began. So, what was your first emotional reaction upon arriving in Africa?
Hmm.
So that's
Did
a
you
great
cry?
question.
Did you cry?
I cried inside. I'm not really a crier, but I cried inside. So yes, it was definitely emotional. When I got there, the first thing that I recognized was the breeze, right? And again, it's something that you can't describe. It's something you have to experience. So just picture you being in the height of summer with the air condition. The breeze was like an air conditioned breeze. So I was like, it was such a cool breeze. So it was like, they were like, yeah, that's an Africa breeze. And I'm like, I never would expect that. You know what I mean? And I guess they say it's in part because of the all of the lush vegetation, all the trees, and you're just so close to the waters. All of that together combined creates this breeze. And and then I was also feeling honored because there's a little backstory about my relationship to Ghana. I'll share with you real quick.
Absolutely.
So there's a place in Ghana called Manso, um, and it's the last bath basically, the last bath. So they say that once they
Mm,
yes, like when they captured our ancestors before they put
yeah.
them on the slave ships, they gave them the last bath.
Yes,
And
math. Mhm.
right, so there is a monument there, like a mausoleum, of three basically shrines, and the first one um, is of a woman that was taken and brought to Jamaica, right,
Mm,
and she led a revolt over there. It was a hunger strike basically. Unfortunately, she passed away, and
mm.
as a result of that, however, she inspired others to revolt. And fast forwarding, a remarkable young lady decided to embark on the task of bringing her bones back
Mm.
to Ghana, right? And
Mm.
that's why they changed it from the gate of no return to the gate of return, because of this act that she did. And
Yeah.
and that was the first one. And then they have one from England, and I think Canada was the third one. It's three now, but she was the first one.
Mm.
And that remarkable young lady was my cousin's mom, so she was my aunt. So that brought those bones back. So I had a feeling of
Wow.
connected to
Yeah.
Ghana this way.
I got chills.
Yeah. So um,
Yes.
um, So she, she passed away as well a few years ago. And her son now is going to be taking over. Her son, Standpipe, he's going to be taking over the throne, and they're going to give him land and so forth and so on. And we plan to set up an education center there where I'll be teaching martial arts. I'll be teaching engineering, teaching
Beautiful.
IT. So we have a goal and a plan set. So
Yeah.
that was my feeling of just wow, I'm connected to this. Like wow,
Mhm.
yeah. So yeah, that was my first initial feelings.
I love that. Oh, we definitely have to talk in depth after.
Yes.
But what surprised you most that no documentary, book, or social media post prepared you for?
Mm.
You told us about the experience with the family member bringing the bones back. Absolutely incredible. Like I said, I received chills. That was surprising in itself.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off, but I would be remiss if I realized I didn't mention her name. Her name is Sister Minnie. Sister Minnie. So if you look up Sister
Many,
Minnie, she was the
Sister
old
Many.
chief. She was crowned chief, like out there. She was crowned a queen mother, and the
Beautiful.
one that took over for her is Sister Mousy. So I would be remiss because Sister Mousy is a wealth of strength information. I walk under her umbrella when I'm there. She's my guide and she protects me when I'm there. So I rock with her. So I have to give her flowers as well. So yes,
Absolutely.
I didn't mean to cut
Yes.
you off.
Oh
But continue.
no. I love that. That was beautiful. So outside of Sister Minnie, Sister Mousy, what surprised you most that no documentary or books or even the social media posts
Mm.
prepared you for when you arrived there?
Um, there's things that I learned on my own, but they can be found on other people's documentary and all of that. But so, like I kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but it was the amount of love and the connection that Ghana has with Jamaica. So that was a surprise to me. So, fun fact: the Jamaican flag is the most popular flag in Ghana outside the Ghanaian flag.
Mhm.
Everyone has a Ghana flag. I mean, Jamaican flag. Everybody's like Wagwan, yes I. Like it's just part of
Mhm.
the culture. And a lot of their reggae artists, their Ghanaian artists, incorporate patois. I have my own documentary about a brother named I met out there named African Yardman, who there's a whole movement out there of African Yardmen. They are
Yes.
Africans, but they identify as Jamaicans. It's
Oh,
wild.
Yes.
They speak
Correct.
patois.
And if I'm not mistaken, Kasan, isn't there like a little town that where there a lot of islanders, including Jamaicans, live together in a town. I saw that on a documentary actually, and
Mhm.
I forgot the name of it. I don't want
Yeah.
to say it improperly, but I did see that where there were a lot of Ghanaians that actually identify as yardmen, as you stated, in that
Yes.
said city. You know,
Yes. It's they're all over. But there's a place called Little Jamaica
mm.
that has a lot of
I didn't want to
Jamaicans.
say it, but that was it. Yes.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
Okay.
lot of
I wanted to
little
be
Jamaicans.
correct.
And it's funny because the first time I went there, so much so that first thing people asked me, well, the second thing, first thing people asked me was, you see no lions? You see no? I was like,
Yeah.
actually, I didn't see no. I saw like one monkey at a park one time, but they don't have tigers and lions and all of that. That's not in Ghana. They don't have that. I actually went to a safari and was disappointed. They only had like they had like a bison and some geese. I'm like, that's it. I was expecting to see like some tigers or something. They're like, nah, you ain't gonna find it
Right.
out there. But
Wow.
yes, the connection that Jamaica has with Ghana is like unparalleled. Like even the Black Star, like I have my Ghana shirt on now,
Yeah.
and the
Hmm.
Black Star that's on the Ghanaian flag was inspired by Kwame Nkrumah and that he got from Marcus Garvey.
Ah.
So
Mm.
yes, that's what made him put that there. And then Marcus Garvey had the Black Star Liner, right?
Mm.
But Kwame Nkrumah had the Black Star Liner also. So it was all the same thing. And ultimately the goal was for us to be able to sail back to
Yes.
Ghana and other parts of Africa through travel, through commerce. And it never got realized, as we know, because the powers that be sabotaged that, and it didn't happen. But just that oneness of it just surprised me. But I want to touch on something else that's very important. When I first heard Afro beats, I was like, look at them stealing our culture. They taking our words and our little slang. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it gets deeper than that. It's how it's so the way we speak as West Indians is not something that it's basically what we preserved when we got here, because that's West African pidgin. So when you hear Jamaicans particularly, so I have conversations with people all the time. Jamaica and Antigua have similar accents. The rest of the islands have another similar accent, right? The steel drums, the curry, and that's because those islands are predominantly East Indians. So they have an East Indian twang. Even if you hear somebody from India, when they talk, they've never been to Caribbean, but if they speak, they sound like it because that's their talk. That's their inflections on their words. That's why they sound like. That's why Trinidad, Tobago, Antigua,
They
Grenada,
sing.
they all
They have
sound.
that sing.
They have that singy. What do you call it? Singy song type of
Yes.
accent.
Exactly. Accent. Yeah.
But Jamaica and Antigua is predominantly African, so we have a different inflection on our words, which is based upon West African pidgin from Nigeria first, and then it's spread to Ghana, which is right next to, and then Togo, Cameroon, all West Africa. So essentially, what my trip taught me, which might wow a lot of people, because it wowed me, which is I learned, this is going to be a bombshell statement, but what I learned is how much Ethiopian I was not. All right, that's what I learned. So a lot of Rastas ain't gonna like that, but again, it's not something that you can describe or explain. It's something that you have to
experience
it.
Because now, if you say Ethiopian, when I say Ethiopian, long ago the whole continent was called Ethiopia.
Of course.
Land of the burnt face people. Yes, Africa. It was called Ethiopia.
Ethiopia.
You know what I'm saying? But at one time it was all called Ethiopia. So when you say Ethiopia, yes, I'm Ethiopian because all Africa is ours. Yes, but Africa, people have to realize Ethiopia was never part of the transatlantic slave trade. So we not Ethiopian in that point as the journey goes to the wilderness of North America. All right. They were only occupied, they were never colonized. That's why you got stuff like Ethiopian lasagna and Ethiopian pizza, which is nice, it's delicious, which, you know what I mean? But as far as us as a people journey, so one thing people got to learn also, another thing that I learned, which is all of West Africa. So only West Africa speaks Pidgin, not South Africa, not North Africa, not East Africa, not Central. It's just only West Africa, those continents those countries that I named. So when we were like, picture, if you will, us in slavery, same thing. If you go to Nigeria or anywhere in West Africa right now, yes, you have hundreds of different languages, but everyone speaks Pidgin. They all speak Pidgin. So if somebody wants to communicate with one another, where you they go? They walk. Like it has a lot of similarities with the dead. Even when I went to get my locks done out there, and somebody came in to sell minutes for a phone, and he was like, "Where's your phone?" And she was like, "It did it." I was like, "Yo, you just sounded like a Jamaican, like a West Indian when you said it." Did it. It was like, "Yeah, that's how we talk." So that's why when you go over there and you speak patois, they understand every word.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm trying to say. It's how much we preserve. So when you hear that, when you hear Afro beats, that's was us all along. You know what I'm saying? And it's a symbol of pride when we speak in patois because it's how much we preserved. So when I hear about, because people know about Jamaica, you have uptown and downtown. Uptown folks, they'll beat their children for talking patois. You're not
Yeah.
supposed to. You're not talking
Right.
proper. You know what I mean?
Correct.
You're to
We,
talk
we all
according
we
to the
all
story.
we talked about that on the last episode. Remember,
Wow.
Linda, where I talked about we had racism within the culture.
Yes.
If you're too
Yes.
light, too dark. If you
Yes.
have the Chinese, you have the Indian, which my family had a mixture of everything. And then
Yep.
when you went to, and just to elaborate on what you're saying, when we went to country down in Westmoreland or St. Anne, Brownstone, Philadelphia area, and you have your cousins out there, and then you listen to the dialect there, it was totally different than what even in as a Kingstonian's dialect of patois, two different worlds. Like I remember for one word stay with me for the rest of my life, and there's so many others. This is just like, they say go kibba the pot, and I'm like, what the hell is that? But it was go cover the pot. But,
cover the pot, yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But in Kingston, the pot was go cover the pot, no, but down there it was go kibba. So it's just like different, and like you said, pidgin, and it's so deep. And I'm glad you stated that. And even to touch on the Ethiopian aspect of it, my family mixed, so we have, we are related to the Garimas from, Ethiopia. Tasu Garima, my aunt was married to him, different things. So it's so intense, and that's how we learned about the diamonds and different things, and the wealth of knowledge.
Wealth of knowledge.
I guess what you all are talking about are myths that you experience completely dismantled. These are the myths about that you're saying.
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head, Linda.
Exactly. That really opened up my eyes, and I'm like, wow, this is what we kept. You know what I'm saying? So that was major for me. And like I said, that showed me how much West African I was. That's what we are. We West African. You know what I'm saying? And and that was a real eye opener for me. Even the foods, you know what I mean? A lot of food, and what I did was I planned to. I didn't put that on my list of things that I do. As a West Side, I wear many hats. So I'm also a self-proclaimed chef, and
I remember that.
Yes, you remember, right? The Jewelers Veggie Lounge. So
yes,
I planned to open up a place out there, and what I did was I bought a lot of my seasonings, a lot of my stuff, to see how it would be received by the West African palate. So everything, they liked everything. I made brown stew, curry, brown stew fish, escovitch fish, brown stew chicken, curry chicken, and one thing, and the rice. I made the rice and peas for them. They have a thing out there called wache, which is kind of like rice and peas, but it's not. It's different. They don't use coconut milk. But they loved everything except, and I made ackee and saltfish for them. Only thing they didn't like was the escovitch, because they're like, oh, this is vinegar. I don't know about the vinegar. I'm like, I told everybody, they said everybody I told when I came back, they said, no, make them try it again. Maybe it's an acquired taste.
Right. Yeah. That's true.
But even the foods were the same, because they have breadfruit there. They have ackee there.
Yes.
They
cassava.
Yeah.
You
know what I mean? Blue draws. They make that. They call it something else. It's all the same.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I remember also a calabash and some other stuff, like very identical. So
full of yam. They got mad. Nigeria had mad yam. When I went to Nigeria last year, the only thing about Nigeria I couldn't take, them food too spicy. Lord God.
No, we thought we were the spice kings and queens. No, Scotch bonnet pepper don't have nothing but for that pepper.
Yo, they have Scotch bonnet, but the thing is,
Mr. There's another pepper. It's the long red one that they use, and then there's another fat green one.
alligator pepper is a long one, but they use many different peppers. So like I was explaining to him, like in Jamaica, you'll make a pot, right? You'll get one Scotch bonnet, right? You put it in the pot and make sure it in a burst. You take it out before it bursts, right?
Yeah.
In Nigeria, them use out 6, 7, 8 different peppers. Yo, I'm like, this might be TMI, but I had the runs every day for a month.
All right, woo!
Yeah, they even put peppers in pancakes. They put pepper. They're impervious to heat.
Are you serious?
Look at Linda's face.
I couldn't do it. I had to cook my own stuff every day. But and then they have tilapia there. That's another thing. You know, us as clean eaters, we've been taught to stay away from tilapia. Yes, I was not eating any tilapia in the Western Hemisphere, but over there it's fresh. They catch it. It's clean.
Yeah,
it's good fish there.
And it's fish used to clean things. Yeah.
Yes, it's a good fish there. Only thing I couldn't find there is codfish. You know, they make saltfish.
Yeah.
As we know, that's shipped in from Norway. That's how we get it. So that's why they don't got it. But yeah,
which is another cultural blending. But anyhow, well, we see the cultural similarities that you discovered from your tour to Africa. And my question to you then, you know, what other similarities have you seen on the broader diaspora?
You mean beside West Africa? You mean in all of Africa?
Correct.
Well, I can't really speak on the rest of Africa, honestly. Every time I go there, I try to visit a different place. So the first time I went was only Ghana. The second time I went was Nigeria and Ghana. The next time I go was supposed to be South Africa, but because as like I said, as an envoy to Ethiopian World Federation, we have different chapters all over Africa. So we have one in South Africa, and South Africa, another fun fact, is the largest population of Rastafari in the world.
Really?
Yes, it's in South Africa, largest population. And then we have one, of course, in Ethiopia. So I was supposed to go to South Africa, but with all this xenophobia craziness going on down there, it kind of like turned me off. I'm not gonna lie. I have friends there, and I told them about it, and and my concern, but I'm not really comfortable going there right now. They're kicking out and fighting and beating up Nigerians and Ghanaians, kicking them out. And then when the same South Africans are found in Nigeria and Ghana, they showing them love. Like, I know what you're doing to us in your country, but we're still showing you love. It's under the premise, it's political. It's under the premise that it's kind of like what they did in UK, what they're doing in UK, or what they did in UK when they were saying we were taking up the jobs.
Exactly.
And we were taking it. They're taking all the jobs, but they said now that you flew these hundreds of Ghanaians and nationals out, has any jobs opened up? No, because it was a lie. It was a fallacy. It's a fabrication, a political fabrication. So I'm not going there, but I plan to go to Ethiopia next time. So I can only tell you the similarities on the West Africa point of view, which we're tapped into. But I'm definitely looking forward to learning each and every time to visit.
Yeah, I love that. I love, that you explained that so well, because we're talking about political stuff and something that we don't like to delve all the way into, because everybody's perspective is different and we respect everybody's point of view, but it's so much of it that seeps in and starts to distort everything else that makes sense for people to come together as one in the community. And see, somebody just took the words right out of my mouth. Let me see. It says, CS99 says, I'm sick of political fabrication. Speaking, call it out.
That's right.
We agree. We concur.
That's right.
But it always comes in and mess up everything. But go ahead, Linda. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Because as much as we try to stay away from politics, it seeps in. It's just part of the fabric of existence, and it's hard to avoid it. You all have talked a lot about food. Kasan, food, you made me hungry. And I keep thinking about peppers and pancakes. It makes me think, because a lot of times when you eat something spicy, to cool it off, you add something sweet.
Mhm.
So that didn't, and the more I thought about it, the better it sounded. But you've talked about food, but I'm wondering, between the food and community and hospitality and daily life,
Mhm.
what stood out to you the most? We know how you feel about the food, but between
All right. Let me start with Nigeria. What stood out for me in Nigeria was it was so crowded. It was so many people, and I was in not in even in Lagos. I was in Abuja, which is considered, if you know New York, it's like a Long Island to the city. It's where people move on, where the politicians move to, where the stars, the actors, they move to Abuja because I wanted to be in a safe area. I ain't gonna lie, it's my first time there. I wanted to be in a safe area.
Absolutely.
So I went to Abuja, and so just picture 42nd Street on the busiest day on a side street. That's how crowded it was.
Yeah.
Not even on the major street. It was on the side street. So that's my part of Motivation Through Madness. Yeah.
Gratitude for joining us. Well, he
Yeah.
says great content. We concur, and thank you very much for tuning in and supporting.
Yes. So that's what stood out to me, was not only the and of course the spicy food stood out to me. Spice and everything. Even when you tell them small pepper,
it's still gonna be there.
Yeah, it's still gonna be there. And then in Ghana, what could I say stood out to me the most? I guess that what stood out to me the most really was that fabric of Jamaica. Like I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting, when they see my locks and they see Rasta, they're like, yes, I, bless up. You know what I mean? Bless up. They respect you to the fullest. It was so much love, so much respect. And like I said, it's the safest country, called Ghana the gateway to Africa. So they say that that's the first place where you should stop before you travel into the rest of the continent. Yes. And you could walk in the middle of the night, nobody bothers you. It was just all good. I'm gonna tell you what stood out to me. It was how could I say this? This might sound funny, but it was so peaceful that it was uneasy. It was so peaceful that it was uneasy. It was so peaceful that I was worried for them. I was like, are you gonna be able to protect yourself and your country if somebody attack you? But don't get it twisted. I did see they had their soldiers around, but because I'm gonna tell you, we got into 3 car accidents there while we were in the Uber, right? Because they have Uber there. For those that don't see, again, breaking the fallacy, they have Uber there. Yeah, there's Uber there. You can take an Uber just like you can in America. They have Uber. They have Uber Eats. So it's people might think, where they got Uber? Yes, they have Uber. So I took Uber, and we got into 3 accidents. And being from New York, somebody crashed into your car, people is cussing. People gonna fight. People lose their lives. They got out, they said sorry, and kept it moving. I was like, wow. What? Nobody's cursed. Nobody's upset. Now,
that's a piece you cannot buy, right? Yeah. That's a piece you cannot buy. That's beautiful.
It's the opposite now, because they say Nigerians are very similar to Jamaicans as far as temperament is concerned, and it's very fiery, and they don't play around, and they hand out hot slaps like rice. So Nigeria is different, but Ghana was so peaceful. I was like, but when it's time to turn up, they do turn up. There was some people, like my last week there. There was actually I was getting my locks done, and I heard a crowd like skirmish outside, and I'm like, the lady that was doing my locks, she got up, she went outside. And she was gone for a long time. So I got up and said, what's all the commotion about? So they got 3 men sitting down. They have them sitting down. They beating them. They beating this guy bad. And even the guys that was like on courier on motorcycle pulled over, took a break to beat these guys. And I'm like, yo, what's going on? Now, people always tell me over there, like, I have a problem minding my business. I need to mind my business. Sometimes I do need to mind my business, but I'm coming from, you got to understand my family, my dad, uncles, cousins. I come from a line of family that intervene when they see wrong. They intervene for justice. Like, you know, my pops would stop and be like, yo, what's going on? What's this? No, this needs to stop. Like, you know what I mean? That sort of thing, you know? So that it was just in me to go out there. And there's a crowd of angry people now. And I'm like, yo, nah, stop. Don't beat them no more. Stop. Whatever he did, just stop. Like, I took the sticks out their hands. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, you know what I mean? And I could tell they were being very respectful. It was like, excuse me, please, sir. Bam! They start beating the guy again. Like, they were trying not to, you know. But then I found out what happened. After, they were stealing from the local church. And they had been doing this many times, and they got caught red-handed that day. So, my dare I say,
and punishment.
right? Dare I say, they could have deserved a beating. You know what I mean? Because you know, in the continent, there's places that cut off your finger and your hand for stealing.
Exactly.
So that beating, they kind of got off lightly, honestly.
They're being reprimanded.
But I'm saying all that to say, when it's time for justice, they turn up. They do turn up. The city, they'll turn up. Don't disrespect their country. Don't disrespect their people. And you know, when it's time to turn up. But I guess amongst them one another, if it can be handled diplomatically and civilized, they'll be like, yo, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, and a pardon will be given. Which I wish we would do that more here. So both of those aspects
would be a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Would be a beautiful thing. I'm grateful for that share. That was amazing. Just to let you know how much community, even though to an outsider at the time, you know, you were technically an outsider looking in and didn't fully grasp what was going on. And then when you got the full context of everything, it's like, alignment. Okay, I get it. My bad. Carry on. Let me get the stick and join in. Let me grab the next club and join in with you. But, wow, that was deep. So, you know, Kasan, I truly appreciate the laughs, and I feel like I was right there with you, just the way that you told the story, and just beautiful. You know, many people, you know, of African descent speak about returning home. What does that phrase mean to you today?
So it means different things. I still, like I said, I want to travel as much as Africa as I can within my lifetime. Prior to me even going there, I took a DNA test to see exactly where it would show. So I did what is the thing? Something in me. Something in me. I did that. And then I did Ancestry, about AfricanAncestry.com. So that's the one that Idris Alba was promoting. And I wanted to see exactly what it showed. And I thought it would show Ghana, because they said if you could prove that you have Ghana descent, you get citizenship, straight off citizenship, based upon DNA. It didn't show that, though. It actually showed Nigeria. No, sorry, it showed Cameroon. But the place in Cameroon, the Mafa people, is right on the border of Nigeria, and all of that at one point was Nigeria. So, you know, and we were given borders. So me, my mother, my grandmother, we all have a certain look to us, and we look like the Mafa people. Like I'm like, definitely. So so I would like to essentially return to where I originated, if the stars align that way. So, but right at this present moment, I'm actually building a house in Ghana. So I'm planning to first return to Ghana, and I have my resident permit, and I was almost one step away from getting my citizenship. You know, you had the 500 people that got their citizenship, and but what happened was, like, you know, no disrespect to the president of Ghana. You thought I was gonna say Trump? Nah. No disrespect to the president of Ghana, but like any greedy politicians, they begin to see dollar signs, right? And they say they turn it into a money making thing, and they've doubled the price that it would cost to get citizenship from when it first started. So now I'm like, you know, I might got to pivot a little bit. I'm not quite sure, but as a Jamaican, if you hold a Jamaican passport, you don't need a visa.
Exactly. Yeah, I was about to say about the call 876 documents.
Yeah, no, I went there. No, I did go there with my Jamaican passport. You know,
Okay.
but to become a citizen, it's easier to use your Jamaican passport, yes, but you still got to go through the process. So they turn it into a money making thing, and they're making the process a lot more harder. You go with the Caribbean, the Ghana Caribbean Association. If anybody's looking to take that route, they'll give you a hand. They'll help you as an envoy to Ghana for the Ethiopian World Federation. They have tasked me with writing the handbook for those wishing to repatriate, which I have. It's published, and they have been handing them out. I finished it at the end of last year. Yes. So there's resources there for people at Mission to do that. So right now, in my journey, the stage in my journey, I know that I belong on the west, somewhere in the west part of Africa, and I know, and I love water, so I want to be what water
yes,
is.
Yes.
Find fishing and be,
Don't worry, just make sure you have me and Linda's spot right there ready for us.
Man, on the good. But as a matter of fact, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I'm planning to do Airbnbs.
Beautiful.
When I first, this place I'm building will be a Airbnb at first. It's 4-bedroom, 5-bath, upstairs, downstairs. It comes with a driver, comes with a cook, and then my Julah's Veggie Lounge, my first flagship, will be there on that property as well.
Don't worry, I'll manage it for you to consider. That's my other hat. Okay. And we'll add it to my cousin's, luxury travel plan.
Nice. Yes.
Don't worry, we're gonna wrap it up nice in a little bow tie.
Love that.
But I just wanted to go back to the audience, because they are throwing in these comments, and I love the engagement. Thank you. Of course, your guy, our guy, Mr. Motivation Through Madness, says morals, values, and principles are definitely they definitely vary in different cultures. Absolutely. And then throw in the patois, not play any foolishness.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you, so I'm gonna join it. I beat them to with the stick. Give me one stick. Should not teeth out to the church.
Right.
And then CS99 says, I'm also sick of politicians being about dollar instead of civil service, which is the job description.
Right.
Period.
Right. Facts.
Exclamation. We concur. Yes. We just had that conversation earlier, actually, about that. And on yesterday.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
You've talked a lot about Africa and its diversity and its beauty. And I'm wondering if someone can reconnect with their ancestry without romanticizing it. Because I'm thinking if you connect without romanticizing it, it'll have a deeper connection.
I'm not sure if I fully understand that statement, because connecting with your ancestry is romanticizing, because at the end of the day, as a displaced African, here in the wilderness of North America to connect back with your ancestor, that's the highest elevation. That's at the highest level.
Yes, and it is romantic.
Right.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
beautiful.
Yes. Yep. And
Yeah.
that's exactly what I was looking for.
Right. Wait a minute.
The rebuttal.
And that's why all the brothers and the sisters coming out of there, they're mesmerizing.
Right.
You are
Right.
so funny. I love it. So we're talking about romanticizing about the experiences and getting in touch with the ancestors and grounding. That's all about grounding, just
Right.
being one with self and
Yeah.
remembering who you are.
Right.
Yeah.
So, did your experience shift how you view yourself, Kasan, as a Jamaican American? Excuse me, I'm going to say it the right way. As a Jamaican man.
Yes. Yes, it did. The first thing you do when you go there, they normally have naming ceremonies. I didn't have my naming ceremony, but I did get my name. So most people give you a name based upon the day you were born. So I had changed my name to Jagari Kwabena. So Kwabena is my Ghanaian name. So Jagari Kwabena. So that's the name on the documents and on the manual
I
that I.
love that.
So yes. So and then again, like I said, it showed me how much West African I was. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to Ethiopian. So that was another thing that really opened up my eyes. So yes, it definitely had my consciousness shift, and the confirmation, like I said, was in the speech, was in the food, was in the music, and then the people. I think who was it there? I don't remember. There was an actor or a comedian that was being interviewed, and he was saying when he went there, the first thing he noticed when he went to Ghana was the amount of people that looked like people that he knew back home in America. So because you ever see people and you be like, I know your tribe. I know people that look like you. I know somebody look just like you. You know what I mean? And I seen a lot of that in Ghana as well.
Wow.
So,
Yeah. So in essence, what you're saying is that Africa taught you about belonging and being connected.
right.
Yeah.
And not so much and not so much belonging, but yes, but where I belong and where I connected in Africa.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It gave you a specificity. Yeah.
Yes. You know what I mean? Not north, not south, not central, but west.
West.
Yes.
Right there.
West. Yeah, West Africa.
Yeah. Sometimes that journey isn't about discovering a place. Sometimes the journey is about remembering a piece of yourself, right?
Right.
Yeah. So when we look at consciousness and spirituality and expansion, which is what we're talking about here, your work reflects many spiritual influences. Your background is outstanding, and we got to talk more. Michelle, we talk about how we connected to these people forever that we interview, but how has your understanding of truth evolved over these many years? I'm talking to you like you might be 85 years old, but how has your understanding of truth evolved over the years?
So that's a really open-ended question. Truth, because truth has many subjects. So I started out my journey of truth on the spectrum of theology. So I have a documentary called Seeking to Find Who or What is God, which was another thing that brought me there. That was part of my journey, was to put pieces in this puzzle over there. So so you have that aspect of truth, which has evolved through the years. And like you said, I try not to touch too much on that because religion and politics are touchy subjects. But just to keep it general, religion that evolved, and then my truth as far as who I am who I identify myself as, and even the Gary. So Gary, people know me as Gary that went to school with me. Right around 8th grade is when I gained knowledge of self, and was introduced to the 5% Nation of God's and Earths, and they taught me the God within myself. Simultaneously, I was around Rastas, and that was part of my culture and my upbringing as well. So it was those two things that helped shape and mold me. So I kind of got rid of the name. You're taught to get rid of your slave name and adopt a righteous name, and so that's how I got into Kasan. And so then Kasan, became that, and then I guess the late 40s, maybe 48ish, around there. I start, how could I say, when you get older, getting older is a blessing and a curse. So when you get older, you start to lose people that you love. So you lose family members, you lose friends, you start to question your own mortality and the mortality of those that you love, like your parents.
Yes.
I'm blessed and lucky enough to still have both my parents in my life, and I started to want to pay homage to them, and begin to use the name more that they chose to call me, which is Gary. So yes, I go by Kasan Da Julah. That's my stage name. That's my producer name and all of that. But like when I do documents, and when I'm in the Ethiopian World Federation, I go by Gary Kwabena. You know what I mean? So I pay homage to the name my parents gave me,
Beautiful.
Gary, just to honor them. You know what I mean? So again, when you grow, the more I tell my children, the older you get, the less friends you have. When you were young, you had thousands of friends, you had hundreds of friends.
We sure did.
So it's about the quality, not so much the quantity.
Not the quantity. Yes.
So I learned, to keep those people close and know who your friends really are. Really embrace family. And honor family and spend time with family. Right now, man, I could be anywhere. I could be in Africa right now, but I chose to be here and spend time with my parents. So they're getting older. I'm here. I spend, I spend out of the week, I'll spend like 4 days here, and then I'll go to Fort Lauderdale, come back here. I help them out. I cook. You know what I mean? I spend time. My dad's on the radio, like I said, every Wednesday, and I come here. We'll gather, and there was a time when I would miss all the functions. Where Gary? Gary did. I don't know. He's here. He's there. He's not. It's not so much that I didn't care. I was just so busy chasing myself. I'm gonna be a rapper, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do. But as you get older, you evolve, you grow. Hopefully, like Muhammad Ali said, if you're the same person that you was, 40 years ago, then you haven't done any growing. And so.
There you go.
Hope that sums up the answer in a nutshell.
Absolutely. It did. And, something that Linda and I like to reiterate, you mentioned it, briefly about having the quality over the quantity. And we've had that, growing up in high school years and having, so many friends. And then, as the years progress, it's just like, okay, things thin out, and unfortunately some due to mortality and different things like that, but then you grow apart because do we align? Is there alignment? Do we have the same interests, or are you purposeful about your vision and your life and your walk? So and then you also have to think about it, and preaching to the choir, if you're sitting in a room of people, and I'm going to keep singing on that, you have a circle, and if you're the smartest cookie in the bunch, you're missing out, because who's going to pour into you when you deplete yourself continuously pouring into the circle that can't elevate you beyond where you are, because you are the roof.
Right. Right.
You know.
That's a
So
fact.
anyhow, preaching on that, can multiple paths hold wisdom without requiring absolute agreement?
Mhm.
That's interesting.
What
That,
say you?
that was a question?
Yes. Can
Ask it again.
multiple
I'm sorry.
paths, no problem, can multiple paths in life hold wisdom without requiring absolute agreement?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because we're not all one thing, right? All of us are not all one thing. We have
Mm-hmm.
we're many, and all of us have good in us, have bad in us, and have neutral. Anybody that says they're all good, that's not a fact. Anybody that says they're all bad is not a fact. Because even somebody that's, let's just say, a murderer, oh, this guy's evil, this guy's evil. Yes, he's evil, but somebody he loved his mom, he loved his somebody that he loved, his wife, so he's not all. Because at the end of the day, I take it to a metaphysical and a scientific point, which
Come
is
on.
at the end of the day, we're all atoms, right? And they say we all start from Adam. We all, without getting religified, but you know what I'm saying?
No,
This,
we
this is
like
this
it.
is
Come
fact.
on now. Listen,
We
listen.
know
This is
exactly
our
where you're
subject
going.
matter, okay? Look, we love
Okay.
metaphysics. So let's
I'm
go.
not.
Right.
Yeah, come on
Right.
with it, baby.
Right. So they say we all started from Adam, right? Adam and Eve. So yes, this is a fact. We started from Adam, but it was not an ADAM, it was an ATOM. It was an atom, right? And an Adam and an Eve, which was an atom that was evenly split, right?
Mhm.
So we have Adam, and an atom consists of what? Positive, negative, and neutral, proton, neutron, and electron, which is all what we all have. We all have positive in us, we all have
Yeah.
negative in us, and we all have
Yes.
neutral. So all of our past, or all of us, all of our dualities make up, or trialities make up us. You know what I'm saying? I guess it's gonna be a duality, because neutral is not either left or right. So yes,
Right.
our dualities so make us who we are. So yes, they don't at the end, they don't align, but they do align at the end of the day, because they all align, because they make us. You know what I'm saying? So yes, they are many paths is who makes us. Because when you're young, you're desensitized to certain things, and as you grow, you evolve. Because I was talking the other day, when I was talking about when I was little and I was in Jamaica. Me used to run down lizard and kill toads and all of that. Now I'm a conservationist. I'm like, yo, don't step on ants. Don't leave the bee alone. We
Leave the
need the
bee
bees, right? So that past is what made me. You know what I'm saying? So that's just one of the things. But yes, our past. They say your past shouldn't define you, but our past do define us.
They do
At the end of the
define
day,
us.
you know.
So with you saying that, how does curiosity and discernment coexist?
I would say with a ruler of righteousness.
Yeah.
That used to use righteousness as your unit of measurement, and then your curiosity. Because curiosity is what made the atomic bomb, right?
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. Discernment is how you use things,
You
like a
use the
weapon.
bump.
Yeah. So you should have a righteous unit of measurement. They say back in the day, I believe it was I want to say the Cherokees. Don't quote me on that, but there's a tribe of Native Americans that didn't go to war before consulting with the women. The women were the ones who decided who went to war or not, because they had that compassion. You know what I'm saying? Just be like, yo, you know what I mean? But there's a long line of women warriors as well. Natty Maroon, and so that helped with that discernment. You know what I'm saying? Just to add on, just a plus degree for discernment. You know what I mean? But, yeah, I would say a righteous unit of measurement is what's helped helps you between discernment and curiosity.
I
Yes.
love that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So, Kasan, your book
Yes.
is titled Supreme Revelation: The
Yes.
Beginner's Guide to Mind Expansion.
Yes.
What does mind expansion truly mean?
Ah,
So, what mind expansion means, in my humble definition, is basically opening your third eye, opening your consciousness. Um, you know, when you're younger, it's like picture yourself as a cup, right? Your cup is smaller because you're younger. Your mind is smaller, so it takes less to fill it. So you could tell me about some Santa Claus and some Tooth Fairy, and that's all I needed to know. You know what I mean? But as you grow, your cup grows. Now you like, I don't even have a chimney. Hold on, I got an alarm here. How did Tooth Fairy get in here? Like, you know what I mean? So that's the same thing with expanding your consciousness and mind expansion, beyond, you know, media, what Western media teaches you, and just on knowledge of self, who you are, how you got here, what can you do, what are you able to do, you know, just like that. I could give you some as simple as the Three Little Pigs. You know, we learned the Three Little Pigs, and this is this, and it's a funny, you know, child's story.
So many more to it. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's deeper than that. You know, I have this in my book. I have a chapter in it when I talk about this. So it's about the three personalities in life, and you have the first pig was the straw personality. That's somebody that has ideas, never does anything with it, right? Then you have the wood personality, people that start things and don't finish them all the way through. And then you have the brick personality, someone that starts things and finishes them all the way through. So since I learned that, I always strive to become the brick personality. So again, expanding your consciousness and mind expansion beyond just the fairy tales, and even the Bible. The Bible's are stories written within stories. You learn about things like allegories. You know what I
Listen,
mean?
this is a conversation that we have to bring you back on so we could
Right.
even delve in further.
Yeah,
Because,
yeah.
and
Just
we
expand.
love that. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
with the expansion, we're talking about, because we went from, even you walking us through the whole Africa journey and belonging. We're talking about becoming, right? And then
Yes.
becoming is a part of remembering who you were, right?
Right.
And then you're talking about arrival, because then now, expanding, that's a part of arrival. You're
Right.
arriving into yourself because it's so much more to you than you were taught or
Right.
given knowledge on, because what they spoon fed us on, we're so much deeper than
Exactly.
what we physically see,
Right.
and I love when Linda and I talk about, when we look into each other's eyes, the reflections and so forth, and then we walk into our stewardship. So I love that you're talking about expansion and all of that. So
Yes.
beautiful. I'm glad you touched on it. And yeah, we're going to bring you back because listen, we have lots to talk about.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for
Yeah.
bringing up my book, by the way.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All of that is so necessary. People have often been afraid of expanding the mind. We've
Yeah.
been taught to be afraid of expanding the mind. And we have to remain open without becoming lost.
Right.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I love that you said that, Linda, because a closed mind fears questions.
Yes.
However, an awakened mind comprehends that questions are often the doorway.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then when we embrace the legacy and the creativity and our next chapters, your work spans writing, film, photography, fashion, entrepreneurship.
Right.
So, I'm able to multitask in that way as well. What thread connects it all? What's the thread that connects all of that together?
I would say culture.
Mm.
Culture connects it all. Culture connects it all because, my music, my film. Um, so I do everything that I do. I do it with an understanding that I have a responsibility.
Come on.
You know, to my people, to my children, to put out good work, to put out quality work. So certain things you're not gonna find, even on I've had social media for all these years. You're not gonna find certain things that and you've never found certain things on my social media. You're gonna fit no booty, like no, I don't got no craziness on my page. Never. You never hear me cussing, and I don't take pictures of middle fingers, none of that. So so you're never gonna find none of that on my. So same thing with my music. So my music is gonna be positive vibes, positive vibration, positive messages. Same thing with my film. It's gonna be positive messages. My clothing is gonna be positive messages. My food, whatever I do, is gonna be something that, what I mean. My mom can listen to it.
Yeah.
Yes.
My children can listen to it, and I can feel proud of it. So that's always going to be a thread of culture and a thread of, I guess I'd say, morality,
Okay.
good morals.
Yeah.
Of that. Yeah. Yeah. Morals are absolutely important. Well, with that, Kasan, what responsibility comes with being a storyteller?
I guess I would just echo on which I've said. You know what? I got a way to answer this question. So a storyteller. So you got two types of stories, fiction and nonfiction.
Right.
Right. So if we talking about nonfiction, the responsibility would be to preserve the truth and always present the truth. And and then fiction, if it's going to be something fictitious, to have a positive moral at the end, something to learn at the end. Because
Yes.
what am I, Gen Z? As a Gen Z, we always had, even our cartoons at the end used to have a moral at the end. Our Voltron and Silverhawks at the end, they always had a moral. He-Man always had a moral at the end. I think we had one of the best generations. I gotta say, we had one of the best generations because there was always a moral positive. On where your children stop, drop, and roll. Don't play with matches. Don't play with it seemed they cared at that time. So I'm from that generation. So I have that instilled in me. So so when I tell stories, I always have to. So it should be noted that I just started getting into fiction. So I have now 3 books out right now, published books. So Supreme Revelations, like you stated, I have that, which was basically, like I said, expansion, the Beginner's Guide to Mind expansion. So which was more philosophy, theology, so forth. Then I have the other 2 are fictitious. My first 2 fictitious books, which is Revolutionary Time Traveler, which was basically posing the question, what would you do if you had a time machine? What would you do? So it's without giving a spoiler, it's kind of like, first I want to go visit my grandmother that passed. So I want to this, and then you say, nah, you know what? I want to save Martin Luther King. I want to warn Malcolm. So you start to, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. When I'm telling stories, it's going to have that type of impact. And then the other one was just fire, Chalice and Fire. That one as well is, actually wrote that story in high school, believe it or not. And I always said I wanted to do something with it. So I just kind of expanded upon it. And again, that has a moral story at the end of the day. It's basically a cautionary tale of a street dude that, is caught between, doing good and the street life pulling him in. So as you can see, I have a theme of positive storytelling.
Was it in Miss Ralph's class?
Huh?
Was
Miss
it in
Ralph?
Miss Ralph's class?
Miss Ralph. No, that was social studies. That was
Okay.
I think it was Miss Eversley.
Miss Eversley, okay. Yeah,
Mhm.
because I know we had a lot of time. Miss Ralph gave us some downtime to write because I think a lot of us, the creatives from high school, Miss Ralph actually helped cultivate a lot, especially with her relationships and just the downtimes that we had encouraged us to tap in. And I was just like, yeah, and Mr. Chu. So
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, Mrs.
yeah,
Chu. Yes, yes. And for those that don't know, Miss Ralph was actually Cheryl Lee Ralph's aunt.
Cheryl is his aunt.
Get
Yeah,
Right.
out.
Yes,
Really?
yeah,
and she brought her to the school.
yeah.
Yeah,
I was gonna say we didn't believe her. She was like, "Nah, I'm gonna have her come up to high school
yeah,
graduation,"
and
and she
she
did.
did.
And
Yep, she
so
sure did. Yep,
Got to
she
prove
surely
it to
did.
y'all.
yeah,
Right.
shout out to
Mhm.
Miss Ralph. Shout out to Cheryl Lee Ralph. Yes, and shout out to
Right.
Yep,
you, Dale.
yep.
So,
And 1 second, I just wanted to read CS99. I thought this was
okay.
great. It says,
Yes.
Kasan, what a great discussion, great responses, respect from this white boomer.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you tapping in. And shout out
Right.
to my brethren, my brethren Motivation Through Madness. He's on there. I actually have a documentary that I did of him also. He has a remarkable story. So tap into my YouTube
Awesome. Well,
channel. Yeah.
share the link with them.
Yes.
We would love to have
Yeah.
you on. We share people's stories, and
Yes.
that's what
Mhm.
we're here for. So please feel free.
Hopefully
Yeah.
he's still
And
on.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We would love to talk with him.
Hmm.
What do you hope? And this is it may echo to what we've just said, what you've just shared with us, but what do you hope people take away from your work, your body of work?
Um, I want people to take away. I was just having this kind of discussion recently, and I was saying that I kind of compare my work to. This might be a lofty statement, but that's just how I feel about my work. And if you don't strive to do great work, then what's the point?
Yeah.
I like to compare what I do to the Egyptians leaving behind the Sphinx and the pyramids and these great works, and you see that they were here. So what I do is is the things that I feel like I'm leaving behind, my great bodies of work. So it's like when you hear my music, so it's twofold. It's things that I'm leaving behind, but it's also to show people as here that good work still exists. So
Mhm.
like when I do music, I have a certain lane that I identify with. It's called boom bap or golden era hip hop. So if you
Hmm.
let Western hemisphere tell it, you would think that doesn't exist no more. Like, oh, nobody does that no more. Nobody's into that. But boom bap is big all over the world. Japan, Germany, Africa. When I went to Ghana, I went to a hip hop fest. It was a break fest. I videoed that too. I got that on my YouTube. I said, "What? Y'all got a break fest here?" So and it was
Beautiful.
dope. And it was people from all over Africa competing.
Yeah.
So it was amazing. So I want people to see that good work still exists, quality work still exists, um,
Hmm.
and
Absolutely.
film same thing. I want to show people things and because when I came back from Africa, a lot of people was like, we ain't never seen that nothing like that in Africa before. Like
Right.
people don't show. Like I wanted to show people that. So my like I said, the break fest, people didn't even think that would exist. When I went to the film festival, I went to the Ghana Film Festival, the Black Star Film Festival, which is amazing. I went there. That was great. I like to show people things like the mall. I'm like, look, y'all, I'm at the mall. They have a mall here. No zebras. You know what I mean? No, like this is actual city. They got
Right.
downtown. Um, and they have a train system. Like I like to show people like we said, like one of the reasons why I agreed to do the show, like you said, was to dispel the myths. So
Hmm.
I wanted to dispel the myths and to encourage people to go out there and see for yourself.
Mhm.
And when I went, I was lucky enough to have a soft landing. Um, I, like I said, I didn't know what to expect, and I have people there and family that's there, people that expats that's been there for over 40 years. So I know I had people on the ground waiting for me eventually, but the first couple of days I was by myself, and I wanted to be safe. I heard people get robbed. Like, oh, they'll rob you. They'll take your phone. They'll don't do that. So I was kind of like on edge a little bit. But then again, I kind of know because in Jamaica, don't have your chain out. So I didn't even go with my chain or nothing. I ain't going no jewelry.
And don't come down there swanging.
Right.
Don't come down there speaky to the spooky.
Right. No. Well, everybody like my mom. That's funny that you say that. My mom, born and raised at Jamaica, right? But when she go down there, she be talking like this, like, yeah, I want to go to the store. What's up? Like, you know what I'm saying? She's scared, and they don't look at her no different. You know what I mean? They don't look at her no different. So yes. I got sidetracked, and then I saw the comment here. But what was your?
I
what was your
know.
question?
He said, I love him already. He said, thank you for the shout out. Kasan Da Julah is a phenomenal being. We concur. I'm honored to have him as a genuine, authentic, transparent part of my life. Beautiful.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And he's also a Uniondale alumni.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He went to high school, and he went to I've known him.
What year did he graduate?
2nd grade. So there's a few people in your life that you still, if you got somebody that you knew that long still in your life today, you know they
of
genuine.
Course.
He's our age. You remember Ronnie?
Yeah.
That's Ronnie. True.
Hey, Ronnie. Oh my gosh. Yes, I remember Ronnie.
It's a wonderful reunion. I love it.
Wow. Look, and Ronnie probably like, really, Michelle?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Awesome.
I got sidetracked. Your question was what? What was I in the middle of answering?
No, you answered it.
Okay.
You answered it. Yep.
All right, cool.
Yeah, and then we jumped to the question that populated. So beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do I wish for people to get from my? I think that's what it was. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What do you expect people to take away with your work? Yeah.
With my work, yes.
Answered it.
I want you. I would like people to go away a little bit more motivated, a little bit more enlightened, a little bit more inspired, and that's with everything: clothes, food, music, anything that you come, even a conversation with me, you come back, you walk away feel a little bit more. Yo, I feel good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I see you saying something like righteous freedom.
Yes, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Righteous freedom. I like it.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. Well, tonight reminds us that perspective expands when experience challenges assumption.
Yes.
It does.
Yes.
And perhaps, wisdom isn't found in having all the answers. Perhaps wisdom begins when we become willing to question what we thought we already knew.
Yeah.
Right. And there's a wise man once said to me, it's not what you do you regret in life, it's what you don't do. So if you got the opportunity to go to Africa, make sure you go, because you don't want to be like, I coulda, woulda, shoulda. You know what I'm saying? When you can't walk or fly no more, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah, so that's one of the reasons what took me there. Like, I had a little fear, a little apprehension, but I said, you know what? I'm gonna do it, and I'm so glad I did. It was nothing but love. I loved it so much. I came back again and started building a house.
Yeah.
Because like I said, there's so much of Africa. You don't know what part of Africa is gonna resonate with your spirit the most.
Yeah.
So I'm right now on my journey. I'm hollering West Africa, but I might go to Kenya or what's the other spot? Tanzania, which I learned we've been pronouncing wrong the whole time.
Wrong, exactly. Tanzania. Yep. Yep,
So,
absolutely.
And you might find like, oh, this is my spot. But I know for sure wherever there's reggae at and West Indian vibes and that vibe is going on, that's why I'm gonna feel the most at home naturally. So
yeah. I love it.
We got a comment down there.
Oh,
Yeah, Ronnie said, no, I know who it is now. He says, LOL, it's been a while. Didn't want to interrupt this beautiful interview, though. This is Kasan Da Julah's moment. Thank you, Ronnie. But yes, absolutely. Let's tap all the way in. I'm going to have to send you the link so that you could go ahead and schedule your interview with us. And I would love to catch up because these are great people. These are people that made me laugh when I was in school.
I feel it.
Yeah. Yes. He goes by True Born now, by the way.
True. Okay. All right, good deal.
So you might not see any Ronnie nowhere, but you'll see True Born.
It's all right. It's cool. We will respect and flow with that. You could actually, if you want to, you could send him the link if he's available. He could come into backstage and we'll walk him through everything with you. But if you have the immediate contact, you could send him the link for you to access here and the green room. And that's
okay. So after, and
then he could tap in with us after.
Yeah. Let's do that. Let's do that, True. If you're available.
Yeah. Well, Kasan, if you, this is the question that I love finding out more about people. If you could speak to your younger self, before the travels, before the discoveries, before the expansion of perspective, what would you say?
Gary. I would say, I guess I could sum it up in the immortal words of Robert Nesta Marley. Don't worry, every little thing gonna be all right.
I
love that. I love that.
Yeah. At one time, I didn't think I was going to live to see 21. You know what I mean? And I had, I went through life with certain apprehensions and, certain anxieties and, so that's what I would tell myself. Don't worry, every little thing gonna be all right.
Yes. Beautiful. I love that. Thank you, Linda, for that. And at this time, I would like to say, if you can go ahead and let our viewers know where they could tap in with you, where they could find you. We have some stuff scrolling at the bottom, where you have, www.dajulah.com.
Right.
However, you could share with them your social sites where they could tap in and let's go.
Okay. So basically you could just do Kasan Da Julah everything. So just like it says right here, no spaces. So at Kasan Da Julah, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. I don't have any Snapchat. I don't do Twitter. YouTube is where you can find most of my works. Also on TikTok. I'm on TikTok as well. So I have a lot of my videos, a lot of my my musical works are on there. I just dropped an album last week. Working on a couple of projects. If anybody's familiar with Bootcamp Click, I've been working with Rusty Jukes, who was the protege of Sean Price. We have a second album coming out. I have a documentary about my dad, a 3-part documentary about my dad.
Beautiful.
Very influential in reggae music, which was very dope, very informative. He's a wealth of musical knowledge.
Yes.
If anybody's
we need to have your dad come on the show as well.
Yeah, he would love to.
Yes.
If anybody's familiar with Michigan and Smiley, which is an old school Jamaican.
Of course.
So Michigan has its own platform as well, and my dad was a guest on his show a few weeks ago, and he did a show on there. And if anybody's familiar with Reggae Dance Hall Thursdays in Jamaica, downtown Kingston, my dad won the trophy a few months ago. So he's no stopping in sight. He's still going hard, going strong.
That's good.
Keep going. I love it.
But to answer your questions, at Kasan Da Julah, pretty much everything. Just go on Google, Kasan Da Julah. As I said, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Those are my and TikTok.
Beautiful. I love it. Thank you for sharing that with us. And you're most welcome. And if this resonated with you, Please make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe on Gary's page, as well as Infinite Perspectives brand, as well as Linda's channel, because, you know, our show lives there.
Yes.
And if tonight's conversation leaves you with anything, let it be this. The world becomes larger when we become willing to see beyond inherited narratives. And sometimes the greatest journey isn't across oceans, it's beyond assumptions. This is Infinite Perspectives,
Where voices become vision and vision becomes infinite possibilities.
yes. And until next time, this is Michelle Diamond, the voice, the amazing Kasan Da Julah,
Bless
and the beautiful, and everybody should know who she is, amazing Linda Boston, my
Thanks to
co-host.
you, my sister. Yes.
Thank you so much for having me.
You guys as well. Gratitude.
Mhm.
And CS99 got a comment in before we walked out. Sorry, hold on. I have to get everyone. Says, ladies, I recently met you at the foot of the Edmund Pettus Bridge, the rambling white chic asking questions. And another great discussion. I appreciate you. Hope to cross paths again. Thank you. Oh, my sister. I love you. I knew it.
Yeah.
Gratitude.
Thank you for
And
tuning
as we
in.
said, we're staying connected. And thank you because you've been tuning in. I've seen you so many times and your interaction with the audience. We truly appreciate you and the support. And yes, we're coming back down there. We have to come down. I'm missing my fried green tomatoes and my pickles. Look, she said sister, and thank you so much. Let me not mess it up. Mr. Motivation Through Madness says great interview. Gratitude, yes, my sister forever. I love you guys. Have a good night.
All right.
Blessings. Thanks again. One love.
Yes.
Anytime. Gratitude to you.
See you soon.
Oh,
No, go ahead.
wait. So we said we're gonna let in. How? What link do I send him?
The one that you tapped into the studio.
Oh, just send him that. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Got
we'll
it.
be here.
All
And
right.
we'll be here. Yeah.
Mhm.
We're
Thank
just
you so
gonna close out, but we'll be here in the green room.
How you gonna change the things around you? Oh, what you gonna love inside of you? Oh, when you gonna hear his revelation?